Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Like Water for Chocolate. It's your girl, Truth, and unfortunately, Lex Love is not here with me today. She is going through some health concerns right now, so you guys just keep her in prayer. We really want her to get better. That car accident really jacked my girl up. Her back has been giving her problems, but we don't want to leave you guys hanging with no episode. We wanted to keep this thing going. So I have an amazing guest that's going to be here with me. We have some great dialogue planned as well. But I hope everyone has been having a good 2019 thus far. As we talked about before, me and Lex, with our health journey, I just wanted to announce that your girl is down 7 pounds. So I'm super excited about that. I hope that you all have still been living your best life, doing everything that you need to do to be successful and keeping it moving from there. But since she is not only my guest, but also my co-host, I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself. So go ahead, Miss Lady.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Ward, and I am a true entrepreneur. I am an author, a mom, a wife, and a newfound owner of a nonprofit out here called the Dream Safe Project.
Congratulations on that. Tell everybody what Dream Safe Project is all about and why it even came about.
Well, thank you. Dream Safe Project is a nonprofit organization that me and my husband have started. It is helping families that are currently coping with tragedy. So we will go into the hospitals and we will help these families that their children are in the hospitals for an extended amount of time. So if they're in the PICU or the NICU, things like that, then we will go in and we will help the families with financial support and just support in its entirety. We'll be giving them care packages. We'll be a listening ear because we have been there before.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely get into that. We've been there because our daughter is Brazil Ward. She was struck by a hit-and-run driver on Halloween night 2013 when she was 6 years old. So she did have a very long, extended time in the hospital. She did survive. So I say she's a survivor, not a victim, technically.
Absolutely.
So she was able to have so much support from the community. And we felt very, very blessed in that situation. And even though they did not catch the driver that hit her to this day, we still felt so much support from the community that it inspired us to want to be able to help those that did not maybe have the same type of media exposure, if they didn't have the same type of where people don't really know when a lot of people are going through things. So we want to show these families that the community does support you guys.
Absolutely.
As long as we know what's going on, we'll definitely support. So we want to be that person that bridges that gap.
Well, what you're doing is great.
Thank you.
I know it takes a lot of patience.
Thank you.
But I know you have it because of everything you had to go through with your daughter. Yes. And then she's not your only child. So you still have other children that you have to care for and take care of on top of everything that your family went through.
Yes.
Good thing about it is you have a partner.
Yes.
Through all of this. And so shout out to Brandon. We haven't met officially yet, but I feel like we're connected somehow, some way. And then he has the same name as my husband. So that just makes it even more better.
Right.
But, you guys are doing it, and I'm super proud of you. You guys, I know her personally.
Thank you.
When I say I'm proud, it's really coming from an authentic place.
Yes.
I am super proud of you. You talk about something, and you make it happen.
All about manifestation.
You don't just sit on it.
Yes.
And so it's dope. You're inspiration, and that's really good. But outside of business, who is Tiffany?
Tiffany is really, I love to use my titles, and the mom and the wife is my number one priority. I love being his wife, and I love being their mother.
Absolutely.
So I put my main priority and focus into them. So whatever it is that could keep them up and going and running and feeling inspired and want to tackle on the day, that's my number one goal, is to keep them in good spirits.
And that's good. And that's how it should be. I wish we had more of that.
Aww.
But you are a good mommy, and you have the cutest kids.
Thank you. And so are you.
And Bishop, Mike, thank you. Bishop is so beautiful.
Oh, that's my little love bug.
Is that who called me?
Yes, he did. He called you.
See, he knew.
I didn't even know.
He was like, let me call my boo real quick and see if she pick up. But no, you have beautiful kids. Brazil's spirit is amazing.
Thank you.
She is a little diva. Yes, she hasn't lost anything. She did not let that situation break her. But when you got a mom like yourself, you have no choice but to just pick it up and keep going.
Yes, I mean, I know for a fact that's my mini-me. So from when she was born to when she was 5 and 6 years old, she wanted her hair like mommy. She wanted to dress like mommy, and because I was always that conservative, wanting to dress in the pencil skirts, and she would see me go off to work and things like that. She's like, Mommy, I want a pencil skirt. And
how cute.
It was just like amazing to see the little person that she was turning into. And I was like, she's turned out to be like me. And I love it. So, when the accident happened, I was absolutely devastated, and because they had to do a craniotomy on her, so they had to cut her skull out, a piece of her skull, and they had to do that emergency. So we didn't have any time to even wait or even think about it. I'm like, do whatever you can to save my child. So she went for the first month of her being in the hospital. She went in with half of her hair cut off, and I had her hair in braids for just, I like to do her hair. I like to braid her hair.
Right.
And she had that part that was gone. And then she ended up, we went down. I remember we went downstairs to just go grab something to eat. We came back, her whole face was swollen. And they were like, we got to take her in for emergency surgery. We have to put a shunt in order to take off the spinal fluid. So I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Just, we're scared about everything. I could care less about her hair.
I can't even imagine.
It was a very hard process, but I'm so grateful to be able to tell my story now, being that there's so many people that go through it. You have no idea how many people go through these types of things and traumatic brain injuries. It's out there. It's an invisible disability that a lot of people, just because you see someone, you may never know they may have had a concussion, and a concussion be stemmed from a traumatic brain injury. Yeah. So when she had that surgery, she had to get the shunt put in. Then they did another bald spot in the back of her head. So she had just this middle part of her hair, and her hair was about as long as mine. And I was like, just cut it all off. Just cut it off. And she was still in her coma at this point.
Yeah.
So when they told us about maybe a month and a half later, because she was in her coma for 2 months. So about a month and a half later, they told us, okay, well, she's going to wake up soon. And I said, well, they're going to take her off the medicines and stuff to wake her up. And I said, well, we can't do it just yet. I was like, I need to. So I forgot to mention this. When she had that cut right then, I cut the side of my hair in solidarity for my daughter. But when they cut it all off, I said, well, look like it's all going off. I don't, I don't care. I don't care about hair, because I wanted her to, because she is so much like my mini-me. I wanted her to know that
comfortable.
Yes, exactly. So when the day that they took her off of the medicines, I went and got my hair cut, and I cut it completely bald. And I mean, the good thing is that hair grows back, because my hair is back now.
Yeah.
But she didn't even pay attention to the fact that her hair was gone. And I never had to worry about that. When she came home and she started realizing something was wrong, she asked me what happened to her. A lot of things she does not remember. Her short-term memory has been damaged. So there's a lot of things that she doesn't remember. But one thing I never had to worry about her with, it was her confidence and feeling like, I feel like a boy or anything like that, because mommy went through it with her.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. And I'm starting to see that a lot. There was one football player whose daughter battled cancer.
Yes.
And I remember he made sure that he was bald as long as she was bald.
Yes.
And he was really there for her. And when I see that, I'm like, that is amazing. Because with women, we have an attachment to our hair.
Absolutely.
We may not, it's subconscious, but we do. And so for you to go, and you have beautiful hair.
Thank
so I
you.
can just imagine it was beautiful then too.
Thank you.
So for you to go and you to do that for your baby, it just shows what type of woman and what type of mom you are. And that's why she's doing great.
Thank you.
And that's why when I call you, she is giving you problems because
Sassy.
she never lost who she was. And so that's a good thing. Her story is great.
Yes.
And your story is great.
Oh, thank you.
One thing that I want you all to know is, yes, she is Brazil Ward's mother, but she's also Tiffany.
Yes.
And Tiffany's dope. I'm glad that I've gotten to know you.
Thank you.
Outside of, oh my God, you're Brazil's mom? Now, when I met her on social media, someone told us that we should connect. And I had no idea who she was. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I got to talking to her. I'm like, she is so sweet. Then I went to go be nosy and I'm all on her page. I'm like, this is Brazil's mom. And I messaged her. I said, you're Brazil's mom? But I'm glad I got to meet you first.
Yes. Thank
because
you.
I knew your baby from following the story. And we were all like, when it happened, it's like it happened to the city.
Yeah.
Like the city was pissed off about what happened to her. And so I'm like, I've been following her daughter for all this time. I knew she survived. I knew she was doing better. But then like I lost track of the story. So when I got to kind of follow up and know that she was still doing good and that her mom was you and that you're dope, I'm like, all right, cool. She's good.
Thank you.
Everything's good. But Dream Safe. Tell us a little bit more about that and what you plan to do with it. Because I want the people to really know about this because I want them to support it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're very excited about Dream Safe. This has been in the making for a while. We've been wanting to do this for about 4 years, but had a brief separation because the one thing this is another reason why this came about, because had a brief separation, dealing with the tolls of life after Brazil's accident.
Yeah, it can take a toll on marriage.
Yes. Actually, 35% of families actually make it through. So we need to lower
less
that.
Less than 0.5%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we almost fell into that stigma. We almost fell right into it. But one thing I knew I couldn't do it without my support. And we've always been able to be a great tag team and yin and yang and things that I'm able to put into a different perspective. He's able to put it into a logical perspective and things like that. So it just didn't feel right trying to pursue anything without him by my side. But I'm glad that I had to fix home first, and I didn't want to start a structure of anything without having fixed home first. So with the Dream Safe project, our goal is actually we're licensed CPR instructors, and we are licensed certified life coaches. So we want to help with that transitional life coaching for families that are dealing with, the same type of pain that we experience. It may not be as big or it may not be as small. It doesn't matter. Pain is pain. Absolutely. When you're dealing with something that happened with your children.
Absolutely.
So we don't want to have families be lost due to not knowing how to cope.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So it's going to be, our life coaching is going to be centered around being able to help the parents be able to move forward and find their new normal. And it's okay to have a new normal. It's okay to be a person that you once were. You can be that again just because something happened. You can be living your life in purpose. So, and then we're going to also encourage, families to stay together, because it is a rough road out there, especially for the children, especially if they're dealing with something. And then they also got to deal with the separation of their parents. So everything that we're going to be doing with Dream Safe on that aspect is going to be from personal experience.
Okay. And that's so needed because marriages end over small things.
Very.
Marriages, I was reading articles because, of course, I'm going on 7 years come August.
Congratulations.
And thank you. But you, my dear, are 13 years. if y'all didn't know, 13 years for the Wards. So when you say stuff, I pay attention. I like to listen to those that have been tried.
Yeah.
And now I see that they're still there. Yeah. I don't want advice from a newlywed. I don't want advice from someone who gave up. I want advice from someone who, we went through some stuff and it was rough and we almost, gave up. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Truth Box with Lady Truth. Every week I want to help you deposit some looked over truths into your own truth box to help you as a person become aware of things we look over and constantly ignore. So just to piggyback off of the episode today, we talked a lot about marriage. and how a lot of it is putting in the work. Yes, the wedding is great. Beautiful wedding dress. You have cake, guests, and everything else. But the wedding is really for those who come. It's just to show them, yeah, hey, we're married, celebration, let's have fun. The real work starts about 3 months after the wedding. After that, it's really up to you on how important you took your vow, or how important your vows were to you, and how important it is to actually make it work. I don't necessarily call my marriage a marriage. To me, it's more of a partnership. We are partners, good and bad and indifferent. We are not always going to agree. You are going to have disagreements, and you're just going to have to agree to disagree. There's going to be a lot of compromise, and communication is key. I cannot stress that enough. So to all of my women and men looking to get married, and for those of you that are looking to stay married, just make sure you keep an open mind. Pray about everything, but you also have to put in the work. Don't pray and not do the work. Make sure that you do the work as well, and make sure you check yourself sometimes, because sometimes it's within, it's not that other person. And if your marriage is worth it, it's gonna last, but it has to be worth it to you. But we're gonna go ahead and close this thing out. I just wanted to make sure that I left you guys with that, so that you had this little piece of advice, because I wish somebody would have gave it to me before I said I do. However, I'm fighting the fight, and my marriage ain't going nowhere. So as much wisdom as I get, I'm gonna be sure to share it with you guys. Until next time, it's your girl Truth. Bye, y'all. Like I was saying before, sorry, I always just start talking off on a tangent. Y'all know me who listen. But
you good, girl.
With marriages, they fail. They say that finances is a big strain.
Big.
Even more so than infidelity. Finances cause divorce more than the infidelity part. And when I'm reading this, I'm like, really? But they actually have people commenting underneath. I do a lot of stuff online when I'm bored at work. But, and I hope my boss don't hear that. But I was reading.
Yes.
And finances is like major for destroying marriages. Then it's tragedies.
Yes.
So loss of life, or something major happened. Or I know one guy said that he lost his wife after he lost his legs, and he wrote a book about it. Wow. And then he got a new wife. And he got some new legs, which I think is cool, the way he still has like this comedy about it, the way he put it. And I read a little bit that he was able to share like the first 3 pages of his story.
Oh, that's
cool.
But
they were saying that tragedy, loss of life, or any major structural changes, or finances. Those are like the 2 main things.
The one thing I can say about finances is I can understand where families can be lost when it comes to that financial part, because when we all get married, we say, I trust you. Yeah. I trust you in everything you're going to do, honey, maybe the husband or the wife. Whatever you're going to do, we're going to make it together. But then there comes a point in time where you're going to actually have to prove that trust. Yep. And that's when people fold. They could say, oh, yeah, I'm going to trust you because I saw the bank account, honey, was looking like this when we got married. Right. But now when we fall onto hard times, or some people maybe have a gambling problem that they didn't express when they first got married. Exactly. That's why you have to do your research before you get married. You have to do. I'm not gonna lie. When like you said, 13 years, 15 years together, we did not study each other. So guess what we had to do? And we got married at 19, 20 years old. Right. So we had to raise each other. Thank God we were friends since high school. So that made it a lot easier, but not everybody has that same thing. Not everybody gets to, understand the child person of your spouse and then the adult, because people change, and that's what you're supposed to do. But sometimes people change and their thought of life changes. So when it's time to prove that trust, that's when things get a little wavered. Sometimes we actually have to say, hey, I said I was going to put this trust in you. So if you're saying that we need to downgrade from a house to an apartment right now, you know what? Let's do it. But some people look at the material things. Yeah, and they're like, why should we have to downgrade? I got married to you. We're supposed to be in this house. And let me just tell y'all right now, Brandon and I have went from a house to living with parents to a condo. And then we graduated to our townhome. And then now we are back to a house. But it was a process. Absolutely. And we went through that process together. It was hard. And I like how you said we had to raise each other. Brandon and I did not really study each other the way that we should have before we got married. Mm-hmm. One thing we knew is that we worked well together. Our opposites helped us. But some people get to that point where you really see who you married, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this no more.
Or you've married a version of someone and they've now grown from that version of who they were.
Exactly.
And you're not taking the time to get to know this person. We as humans, we evolve daily.
Every single minute.
If their growth is negative, okay, I get that. That's something different. But if they're evolving into a better version of themselves and you are just feeling, and I hope he doesn't get mad at me for sharing this, but I remember Brandon told me when I first started being an entrepreneur, so this was about 2 years ago. He was like, I feel like I don't know you anymore. And this is when we were at one of our toughest times, and we really were disconnected. Mm-hmm. And it's because I was doing 55,000 things because I'm like, I'm not meant to be an employee. I'm going to get out here. I'm going to network. He didn't understand it is what it was. But then also I wasn't taking the time to put into home to make sure he knew what I was doing and he knew what my goals were and he knew what my plan was. And I wasn't feeding into him anymore like how I used to.
Right.
So, and then on his end, he wasn't reaching out trying to see what it was I was doing. And so we had to have a real sit down. Y'all, sit downs are good. They may start off rough, but they always end well. Communication is key. We've been able to talk through some of the toughest things.
Yes.
Communication works. But you guys have to understand that you're not going to stay married to that same person through your entire marriage.
Right.
Unless you want to really, like, let's just say, like, you got married, what'd you say, 19?
19.
So do you want to stay married to a man who's going to have a 19-year-old mentality for the duration of your marriage?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. And people forget that part.
And that was the thing. I knew the man that he was becoming. And I was so excited. I was so excited to be a part of what he was as a person.
Absolutely.
And he also, I didn't realize that he knew this about me. I just found it out on our anniversary of how much he appreciated my drive and tenacity and everything. So I'm very thankful that we did. But if I could go back and do it again, I would honestly say we should have waited. We should have took the time to stay engaged for a little bit because we only were engaged from in 2006. He proposed to me on Valentine's Day. We got married in May of 2006. So
we got engaged in March and we got married in August.
Yeah. So I think that it should be a time that you really get to know each other, understand each other, and understand that this is not just a piece of paper. And that just like you're going to put into work at that 9 to 5 so you can get that paycheck, use our love as a paycheck.
Absolutely.
So, and there was a point in time where we did not, even after Brazil's accident, I can honestly say I was not Brandon's wife. I was
Brazil's mom. Yeah.
I'm guilty of not even really being the other kid's mom because I was just so focused on her. And Berlin, she's now our second youngest. She was only like 2 at the time. She was 1 when it happened, but she was 2, and I don't feel like I gave her the same. That's a big regret. I don't feel like I gave her the same attention that I gave the other 2 when they were that age. Because I mean, I was the ABCs and I'm not putting them in preschool. I'm gonna do everything myself. The reading was all on point, tying the shoelaces, every little thing was there. But I was so focused on getting her better because I know the only thing that I know that I did in return is that I prayed to God to save my child, to let me keep her. I'm sorry to be selfish, but let me keep her. I'm not finished with her yet. And I'll do everything I can to nurse her back to health. So I felt like if I did not follow through what I promised,
that God didn't have to keep.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you. No, and I appreciate you sharing that. I'm trying to hold back tears right now. But no, that's real because I was guilty of not being a wife. I wasn't a mom. I was just trying to be better.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking if I be better and then I go home and they see this better me, then everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
But I was taken away from the fact that they didn't need all of that to be happy. Yes. They just need a mom to be home more.
Absolutely.
Brandon just needed his wife home more. And so I had to sit my ass down and I be home.
Opposite. I was actually the opposite. Brandon wanted to get out of the house. My Brandon.
Right.
But wanted to get out the house and be active like we had been before. We worked during the week, and then the weekends was all about the kids. We'll go to parks, we'll go, doing little stuff, whatever they wanted to do. It was a big Discovery Museum and what is that place called? Springs Preserve. We were big on doing the nature stuff. And when Brazil's accident happened, she got home, she's okay. And even though she was in a wheelchair, I was like,
No, I wanted to wrap everybody in this big bubble. My anxieties were just like, something's
Yeah,
going to happen.
everybody to be safe.
Because what's crazy is we were being safe that night. I had all my kids in colorful outfits. They were both Power Rangers. They were Power Rangers, and Berlin was a Batwoman. And they were in these bright neon colors that there was no way she couldn't have been seen.
Right.
So it still happened, and there was nothing that we all crossed the street together. We were all in that melee. I'm actually very surprised they didn't hit more than one person, because it was just complete chaos, and it came out of nowhere. It was like the devil came and just kind of take away my perfect reality in my head. But that accident also opened up a lot of things, like to make me see that my life wasn't as perfect as I thought it was.
Yeah.
And so it had me have a chance to step back. I was already fighting small social anxiety, but I mean, it went completely out of control at this point. It was like, okay, Tiffany, if you are dealing with, if they walk out the house, then, something can happen right in front of the house. And no, I don't want you guys to be outside, and I don't want you to be around here or anything like that.
I couldn't even imagine.
My son's school was in walking distance, and I couldn't even walk him to school. I mean, I would freak out, get dizzy. I could not move until once I got in the house and stayed there. Okay, I can breathe. I can actually function right now. So I'm not going anywhere. So there was even points where my husband said, if you don't leave this house today, there's going to be some issues. Like, we're really going to have to, figure out things without you. I'm going to start living life again. I'm not going to keep doing this with you. Because I would say, oh, yeah, sure, let's do it. Oh, you want to go somewhere on Saturday? Sure. And then when it comes, I'm making up an excuse.
To not go.
I'm like, you know what? It's going to rain. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no sun. The
Right,
sun is
it's
out.
110 degrees.
Yeah,
what are you
that's
talking
like
about?
Monsoon season. It's going to happen. That's how I would be. But it was for me to try to convince him that no. We got to the point where he ended up buying a gym set for the garage because I freaked out every time he left the house because I thought something was going to happen to him. And I'm like, no, don't go anywhere. Like, so we had invested in this full gym set from a gym that closed so that he could be home. So if it was up to me, I would have kept them all in a bubble at that point. But when things started changing, and then I actually forced myself to get out. I didn't know that the book was going to actually come about. The only time that I forced myself out of the house at that point was when the news said that they wanted to do an interview with us. And so they actually really helped me. So thank you, Las Vegas media, for getting me, out of my comfort zone, because otherwise we would have been
still in that bubble.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad. I'm thankful for that. And you are complete opposite now.
Yeah.
You are doing major things. She's also going to be on the panel at my luncheon on June 8th, which we are super excited about. And as you can see, she's perfect for this panel because she had to go through some things to get to the point to just breathe, which is what a lot of us need to take the time to do. Not just women, men too. Y'all be tripping sometimes. Y'all be tripping.
Oh, yeah. They deal with anxiety too and they don't know it.
Exactly. They just be like, nah, I'm just stressed. Nah, player, it's a little bit more than that. I had to tell my husband, I said, I think you have anxiety, sir. I said, it's just different from mine, but you might want to look it up. Yeah. Because I think you have a form of it. I don't have no, really. Look it up, sir. Yep. It's okay. It's all right. When you acknowledge it, you can get better.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
Yep.
I had anxiety. I deal with anxiety attacks from time to time now, but I don't have anxiety anymore. So,
you don't claim it.
And I tell myself that all the time. And I told him, I said, once you actually recognize it, then you know what to do to get yourself back right.
Absolutely.
And there's a guy I went to school with, BJ. He's been doing like live interviews and stuff like that with some other, I think he knows these guys from like college, or he's a model as well, and just everything that he does. But it's men talking about their mental health issues and stuff that they deal with. And I think that movement is so amazing.
Yes.
Because there needs to be a bigger platform for men.
Absolutely.
Even your husband. He probably deals, well, I'm sure you know because you're with him, deals with some stuff, some anxiety, and he just deals with it in a different form.
Oh, absolutely. He had it where when the accident happened, I remember I had to go to the doctors because I was like, I know I identified that where mine was coming from. I knew what it was. So he took me to the doctor, and they had to talk with him too, and they evaluated him. So they said, well, both of you guys we're diagnosing you with anxiety, depression, PTSD. First thing he said, I don't got none of that.
And that's good. He didn't claim it, but he needs to acknowledge it.
Yes.
Because that's the only way that you can make sure. And obviously he has, because he's doing great things.
Yes.
And he's finding his way to, keep pushing forward and doing
Absolutely.
what he does.
He meditates every single day since
There
the
you
accident.
go.
Since the accident, it is it's clockwork.
That's awesome.
He does not go a day without meditation, and I've seen the difference since then.
That's awesome. That is so good. Well, y'all heard it. Like, it's okay to meditate. Y'all hear me and Lex talking about it all the time. Now there's a man doing it. So for our male listeners, it's okay. You don't got to get the beads or the yoga pillow. You don't got to do any of that. It can just be however you want to meditate. You could be sitting on the couch. Pause ESPN for a minute and just meditate for like 5 minutes. It's life-changing.
Yeah,
because
even through a
see
commercial.
things better.
Even if it's through a commercial, they have plenty. Even if you don't really necessarily know how, YouTube is phenomenal when it comes to.
And they have the ones that walk you through.
Yeah, they're
meditation,
guided meditation.
Yes.
I like those personally because
Me too.
I like for them to tell me what to focus on. And but the one thing that Brandon, he's very good at being able to acknowledge and watch his thoughts go through what they're going to go through and talk them out. And you could tell he just comes back so much more spirit. Whenever he's having a stressful day, I'm like, go outside and meditate. Go and, take a chill pill.
I wish I could see her face when she said that. She had a flashback moment.
Like, yeah, we got to get it together. It's, but it works. It definitely does help, especially if you're dealing with a stress level, even if it's something about work or your job or something like that, be able to keep that positive mind. And I am big believer of manifestation, and thoughts become things. So if you reprogram your mind, you can reprogram your life.
Absolutely.
And so I definitely encourage being able to put yourself those affirmations. Affirmations are big.
I listen to them daily.
Yes, I listen to them at night too.
And
to go to sleep.
They absolutely, just within the past month, have changed the way I say things and how I do things.
Yes.
Because I didn't realize until somebody brought it up to me that I had an issue with money. Subconsciously.
Okay.
I had a feeling that I am not supposed to have a lot of money. Or if I have a lot of money, it'll make me bad, or money is bad, or money is evil. Subconsciously, This is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So a lot of people have this money mindset because they grew up poor, or what the world sees as poor, living without. And so we subconsciously train ourselves to think that this is how we're kind of supposed to live. Right. And if we make it a little bit above that, then we're good.
Right.
So my affirmations that I've been listening to have been money affirmations. Why? Because I'm going to retrain my brain, because I do believe that I do deserve to be a billionaire.
Exactly.
And so in order for me to really walk in that, I need to retrain my mind. Because I can say that to you now, and then subconsciously I'll be like, oh no, I can't charge them that because that's just too much. And that's not money mindset.
I told you.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking that, I don't deserve to charge them this much, or what I'm doing doesn't deserve this ticket price.
Yes, your work
And
does.
I did it again. And that's when I caught myself. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, no, Whitney, we're not doing this anymore. We're about to retrain this mind of yours.
Yeah.
And we're going to get it together.
See, the good thing with me is I definitely understand where you're coming from. And I could definitely relate. I was at that point too when it came to the book. It was people that I would see, or I would tell them about my book, and then I would feel like they were entitled to experience it.
Yeah.
And that I wouldn't have to, charge them
for it. Yep.
And it was self-consciously, I felt like, okay, I don't want people to think that it's only for $1. Here you go, and I'll give you this in return for you paying me. Sometimes I would talk to people genuinely and feel like they needed to hear my story. So, but there got to a point where I was giving out more books than I was selling.
Right.
So on a business standpoint, that's not really good. But I knew that my goal when I wrote the book was going to be to touch, even if it's to touch one person and help save that family. That's what I would want to do. But
I definitely understand. Like your subconscious starts to eat at you.
Yeah.
And so what was great that helped change my mind is I started working for a business coaching firm, and I was in the marketing department, and they taught us how to run a business. And so I got a full understanding of what it is to really run a business and why we should be doing what we're doing, the reason why we charge. Because you are supposed to know your worth. Your material is going to help people. But everything has a cost. Everything deserves a cost. Mm-hmm. So it helped me on that line point to be able to say now. So now I'm not afraid to say, oh yeah, you can absolutely have this. So even if I do give out a book, I would want something like in return, I would like for you to refer someone to me so that I could be able to, get an opportunity to, be able to help someone else. That's my pay it forward. If I pay it forward to you, you pay it forward back to someone else.
Yeah.
Or if it's that, if I give you this book, share it. Give it to someone else for them to read.
So that they can have it as well.
Yeah. So it could show abundance, because I'm big on abundance as well. So I'm completely there with you, where the subconscious can also, we can be our own worst enemy.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm going to completely break away from that. Going to Epicon, and y'all heard me talk about this on our other episode. That conference, listen to Miss April Franks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, child, she ain't afraid to be a millionaire. And it shows, because everything she does, yes, she wants to help people. Yes, she wants everyone to be successful, but she also wants to make her coin.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with doing it. And she taught me that. And so Whitney's on it. But before we wrap up, let the people know where they can find you, follow you, what you have coming up, so that they can make sure they keep in contact with Mrs. Ward.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for having me on the show. This was absolute blast. I love it. So, and I can't wait to do the Just Breathe event.
I'm so excited. Well, I'm nervous and excited for that.
Oh, you shouldn't. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited.
It is.
I'm excited to see all the beautiful people. I do have the books here that we raffled off.
Oh, for the raffle winners?
Yes.
Okay,
so congratulations, raffle winners. There'll be signed copies for you guys, and we're going to do a meet and greet at the event. But yes, you can find me on Facebook as well, Tiffany Ward, and that will be at Team Brazil. You can also find our nonprofit at dreamsafe.org. That's dreamsafe.org. I always tongue tie that for some reason.
It's all good.
And yes, we're looking for sponsors for events that we have coming up. We have something actually planned out for the whole rest of the year. We're going to be doing backpack events. We're going to be doing our Halloween Safe-tacular, which we've done before with UMC. We're just now doing it under our own entity. So this will be the fourth annual Dreams Safe-tacular, but this is the first year under Dream Safe. And we're going to be doing some clothes drives and costume drives, things like that. So if you guys would like to get involved with us, please go to our website. That's dreamsafe.org, and we'll be able to have you guys on. We would be very, very excited to let you guys know everything we have going on.
Well, we will definitely make sure that on our Like Water for Chocolate Facebook page, as well as Instagram, once this show airs, which will be tomorrow, we will make sure that we provide you guys again with the link and her handles, so that you can follow her, follow the project, and just support. Like, it's not like she just woke up and said, oh, I want to do this. This is something that has been in the works for a long time. Yes. And if you are somebody who has a dream, you understand how important it is when yours finally comes into fruition. And this girl went through some things to get to where she is, her and her family. So just make sure you support in any way that you can, even if it's just sharing a post or sharing the organization with a family that may need it, that may be in need of what her services are and her husband's services are. But as far as for me, you guys, y'all already know where to find me, but it's Lady Truth on everything. Our Instagram is LWFC_podcast. And then we haven't been as active on Snapchat. We just gonna let that one go. It's hard because me and Lex both live separate lives. And so just follow our Instagram. We'll always keep you up to date. Our Facebook page, Like Water for Chocolate. And until next time, it's your girl Truth. Y'all be good.